has anyone's weekly game been Stray this week?
Nope.
No, I've seen that blowing up the internet, but I haven't touched it. It looks like one I will play at some point with Erin or something. I don't know. I'm in no rush to play it, you know.
Or for anyone that's watching the visual component, the meme is a Stray related meme. It's one of those things where I still don't really know what it's about, even though it's out. But everyone is going gaga for it, right?
I think it's just because it's a cat, and people were going gaga before they even knew what it was. It was like, oh, it's a cat game, you know.
Yeah, I was looking through. I was on Steam the other day, going through top sellers, and I think the top sellers list is of sales, but it is also somewhat like algorithm stuff. And I'm looking through, and it's like, here's this new stuff coming out. It's got 50 reviews. Here's one, mostly positive, 100 reviews, and you hover over Stray, and it had 30-something thousand reviews, just on Steam. I always assume that you can take that number and times it by 20 or something, and that's probably the actual number of players.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I've never left a review on Steam ever.
It's crazy. We watched the trailer for this, and we were all like, "Huh, neat." I did not expect it to be the game of... I guess there's nothing out at the moment. There's nothing else to look forward to.
People go crazy over a little pussy.
No, stop. Welcome to the Game FourCast, the weekly podcast where we get together and Steve makes vulgar jokes every 2 minutes. My name's Josh, aka BottlerWorks. Let's fuck it. Let's find some energy. I'm here with Olive Meister, Will.
You came to the wrong place. I'm Olive Meister and or Will, and I'm very tired today. It's too hot.
I'm here with Quikwix, Steve.
Hi, my name is Steve, and you're in luck because you get a 2-for-1 deal with me, as I am both submissive and breedable.
No, I'm with Sammeh.
Oh God!
You
today.
You have nothing to worry about.
I mean, I'm on a high, but Steve's fucking knocking it out of the park.
You have nothing to worry about. As you need
to
be
I'm not letting you talk. Fuck it. I don't know. I'm scared. I'm scared that the next thing you're going to say is just more unbelievably horny shit.
It was.
Thank God. I know it's hard, but you're literally in heat. No, it's so. Last week was the hot cast, right? We've gone past the hottest day now, but it's still summer is here. Summer is here. It's still pretty warm.
It's raining right now. I'm fucking loving it.
It's raining where you are?
Yeah.
Oh, that means we'll get that probably in a few hours.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, if it's coming this way.
I'll get it first, and then you try not to dox ourselves. But yeah.
Someone's going to triangulate our positions.
Calculate by the
The Google Maps are already open.
Yeah, if I say I'm going to get it exactly 47 minutes after Will. Do with that what you can.
If the train leaves the station at this time, what time will it arrive at Josh's house?
Yeah, and
the train... no fucking hope because the trains are shit.
Yeah, trains are so bad. My train ride to work at the moment is half an hour long, and it's taking me an hour a day just because they're just not running. It's so stupid. I'm not going to sit here and moan about trains for ages, but fuck trains in England. They're so bad. Have you all played lots of cool new stuff this week?
Oh, of course.
No? Okay, let's start with you, Will. What have you been playing this week?
I played an old cool thing called Into the Breach. Got its definitive edition released. So I have been falling helplessly in love with that game all over again because the new stuff they've added hasn't changed the game radically. It's just a lot of more stuff in it. Yeah. So it's how Isaac, it'll get a big expansion and you'll play it and be like, there's lots of new things here, but I'm still playing Isaac. It's kind of like that. That game is still really fucking good. I
played it a long time ago. It's been out for quite a while, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it came out.
Yeah, it has.
Fuck, God knows how long. 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
It says 2018 here on the Steam page, but I swear it's even older than that. But it can't
2018
be.
sounds right because it's
FTL, I believe 2018.
FTL was big a few years ago, and I've played FTL and loved it, but Into the Breach I'm not sure, it doesn't appeal to me.
Oh no, it's great. I'll be the first to say I think it kind of looks a bit bland, but when you play it and get into it, I think it's really, really cool. What's new?
Oh, really?
In this?
This is like I think this game is like maybe this game is like perfect for me or something. But
Yeah.
I think the aesthetic, the art I think is great. I guess the animation isn't fantastic, but it doesn't need to be. All that's new is just they've just backed the dump truck of content up into this, and said like here there's a bunch of new scenarios, a bunch of new maps, a bunch of new enemies, new mechs, new teams, new achievements. And they do this cool thing where whenever you boot up the game, whenever you start a run, it'll have a checkbox on one side of the screen that just says, "Here's all the new enemies," or not here it is. Do you want new enemies, new mechanics, expanded pilot skills and stuff like that? And you can just be like, yes, I will have everything new in this one, or no, I'm going to play the classic version this time.
I like that when you get the choice. Yeah.
I was going to say that seems good.
Super handy.
With Isaac, like you go into that game and it's like I remember playing before the expansion, like kind of learning stuff. Then with the expansion, I was like, oh god, new bosses. I don't know what they do. New items, and it's as that game gets older, and if you've bought the DLC, it suddenly becomes harder because there's just more options.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that you have the option to.
Well, this already kind of polices it by you have to unlock things. You unlock achievements to get currency, and then currency you buy new stuff, new teams and mechs and things.
I was just showing some screenshots a minute ago, but summarize really quickly just what this game is.
It looks like a turn-based, like an XCOM style game, but what it kind of is like it's kind of like a puzzle game almost. Because
I'd agree with that.
It's more like you'd get those books of like chess problems where it's like checkmate the guy in one move, or checkmate the guy in 3 moves or something.
Yeah.
And it's more like that, where you are a team of 3 robots. You can have little extras, but there's always 3 robots and 3 pilots. And every turn, the enemy bugs will telegraph what they're going to do. They move, and then they'll be like, I'm attacking in a line along this grid, and they'll either threaten you or they're like a building, and the whole idea is you're trying to protect people.
So you have perfect information.
Yeah.
You're told exactly what is going to happen if you don't solve the problem.
Yeah, and it's literally, you are given all the information, so it'll be like, I have a guy attacking in a line down this grid coordinates, I have a guy who's like mortaring a shot over me to this other grid coordinate, and then all your mechs can, well, not all of them, but usually they'll have some kind of push or pull or turn or whatever kind of move. So you'll be like, right, if I hit this guy, he will rotate 180, and he'll shoot behind him instead, which makes him shoot this other bug. And you can also hover over and see like who's going to go first, what's going to happen, sort of thing. And then it's like, on top of that, there'll be like bonus objectives. Like it'll be like, oh, protect this train. And every turn, it'll be like, okay, all the enemies are going to go, and then the train will move forward 2 spaces. And if there's a bug on the track or a bug hits it or something, the train will explode and you fail that bonus objective. But you don't fail the mission. You only fail the mission if all your mechs die, or if you let too many civilians get blown up. And the whole thing is you just go from island to island doing missions and mini scenarios. And like FTL, you build up like currency in the run, and then you use that to buy like new weapons and upgrades for your mechs as you go, sort of thing. So it's like, you might have a guy that hits and knocks back 1, but you can upgrade it so it knocks back 2 or does more damage, or it might make you immune to knockback, or just like layers and layers of little extra bits.
I'm gonna have to play this.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
I forgot how good it was until you're describing it now. I remember when I played the base game. I can't remember how long ago it was, but when I played it, the coolest parts I found were when the problem wasn't completely solvable. So it was like you were describing, it's like damage mitigation, where it's like, right, I'm gonna have an issue here. What's the least amount of damage I can get away with? Or like
exactly, yeah. And there is also it's not perfect information, because there is a single, as far as I can tell, there's a single dice roll in the game, which is whenever a building gets hit, which is like your life basically your run HP sort of thing. You have, depending on how well you're doing, you'll have it's you can see it on the screen there. It's called grid defense, and that's a 19% chance that the building will not take the damage. So you can kind of be like, oh, do I stand? You might be out of options and be like, the only thing I can do here is stand my mech in the way of this guy attacking. But if I do that, he could die. So do I move him out of the way and let this attack go through and hope, cross my fingers on the 19% chance that the attack doesn't actually affect or be effective. So it's like you have that little extra, like, oh, I'm clenching. Here we go. You watch it play out. It's just. And this new one adds a bunch of fun new enemies. Like there's one where it pulls stuff to you, so to hit you. So instead, so it'll be like, I'm gonna pull anything in this line. I'm gonna pull straight to me and hit. So then you can do kind of fun stuff like, okay, well, if I put something in the way, like a rock, he's just gonna grab that and hit himself with it instead, sort of thing.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, there's loads of little extra bits like that. Just kind of it is when I played the original Into the Breach, or the base game. I was like, I could play this if they kept dropping content into this game. I could play it forever. I feel like, and sure enough, they dump truck a bunch of new content into this game, and I'm like, all right, I'm fucking back in.
Did anyone even know this was coming? Like, was this?
It was announced. Yeah, people have been talking.
It was announced,
I
like
know
a
it was
week
announced,
before or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Was it like, oh, by the way, in a month's time, we might be working on more Into the Breach stuff? Like, did people know this was coming? Because
I only saw the announcement, like a couple of weeks, like you said, a couple of weeks before.
Yeah, I did have this as a news story, but I've seen you playing it on Discord, and I made the hard read and thought, no, I'm going to drop the news story because I bet he talks about it.
No, he's going to talk about that. Yeah. Also, one thing is, this game is now published by Netflix on mobile.
All right, then.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So if you have a smartphone, you can, and you have a Netflix account. What I did is like, Into the Breach out now for Netflix on mobile, and it's called Netflix Into the Breach or something. It's really weird. And I just downloaded it, booted it up, and it was like, oh, hey, we see that you've logged into Netflix on this phone. Here you go. Just have Into the Breach. It was like,
I'm looking at that now. What the fuck? This is so weird.
Yeah, right. It's weird. But if you have Netflix active on your phone, you can just download this and try it out. It's like 400 megs, and it works pretty well on phone. The only thing is you can't zoom, and I have an older iPhone with a not massive screen, so it's a little fiddly. But it runs really well. The only thing is it doesn't have cross progression, so I'm like, am I going to start all over again just to play on mobile? And yeah, I did.
This sounds like
really fucking
it sounds like because it's on because it's like Netflix gaming, right? It's missing all the little things you take for granted, like cloud saves and
exactly.
Bits and
Yeah,
pieces
it's kind of awkward. But I mean, Steam wasn't going to do it, so
it's like I play so much stuff now because I take my laptop to work, and on a quiet day I have like a gaming laptop. I'll carry on playing. I'll play like what's that new one? 20 Minutes Till Dawn. Like little bits like Vampire Survivors, things like that. It's like I just turn it on and there's my save. And I won't spoil my game yet, but the game that I've been playing this week, I've been playing to and fro from work and home. And I've been having to like, I'm not playing it on Steam, so I've been taking my save file and like uploading it to Google Docs, and then like,
wow,
it feels so like archaic.
That's pretty cool.
One thing that I've always looked at this game, because I like the Advance Wars, I like Final Fantasy Tactics, Fire Emblem. The maps always seem very small to me. Do they get bigger or?
No, it's always 8x8 because that's all you need. It's like I said, it's not an RPG. It's more of a puzzle game.
Yeah. It's not an RPG strategy game.
More for an RPG, yeah.
I think. Have you ever played this, Steve?
Not played this. No.
I think if you started playing it, you'd understand straight away why the maps are that size for the way the gameplay is.
It would be pointless. It would be infuriating if they were bigger, because the idea is something can suddenly threaten something on the other side of the map, but because the map is small enough that you can always, as long as you position yourself smartly, you can always react to things that are happening on the map.
Sec. This is a free update, right?
This is a completely free update. Yeah.
Amazing. Any final words?
I mean, everyone should try it. especially if you've got Netflix now, you can just play it apparently on your phone. So
That's
definitely
crazy.
give it a go.
That's just crazy.
Yeah, it's
It is weird. It is weird.
I think my reaction when you said it's on Netflix was just like, huh?
Yeah,
They
I
announced
didn't
a
know.
while ago.
I didn't know this was what they were doing or like their strategy. But I think it's this and another game.
Maybe.
But I don't know.
Stranger Things Season 3, the beat 'em up version.
Oh yeah, there was that weird Stranger
that?
Things game,
Yeah.
wasn't there? I forgot. Yeah.
Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance as well, maybe.
Yeah.
That game was a thing.
Available game. Oh, apparently there's quite a few. I don't know any of these, but
Okay.
Into the Breach, Hextech Mayhem, a League of Legends story. There you go. Anyone played that?
What the hell's that?
But anyway,
That's the rhythm game, the Ziggs rhythm
oh,
game.
I know the one. Yeah.
don't know. Never heard of this.
Sick. Yeah, everyone play this game. I agree with Will. This game's really fun.
It's good. Also, real quick, me and Aaron, I just got back and I'm tired because me and Aaron just got in and we went to see Top Gun Maverick. And
you're gonna join the army
that's
now?
yeah, definitely. Well, the Navy.
Sorry.
That's a really fun movie. It's funny. We watched Netflix just put out an action film called The Grey Man.
I heard about that. Yeah, people aren't too hot on it.
And it was fun enough, but you could tell in the action scenes. I was like, I'm not digging this. This is kind of, like, I like watching. It's Chris Evans and he plays a villain, and you can tell he is having an absolute ball. In this film, he's the best part.
You can tell he's a villain because he has a mustache.
Because he has, yeah. They even comment on that.
do they?
The film. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
But he's like unshackled from the MCU now, and he's just doing whatever he wants, and he's having a ball. But yeah, anyway, but it was like watching the action in this. Was like I was like, it's just noise. I'm just bored. Like there's like a car chase, and so much stuff is happening, and I'm just like, I'm not even interested in any of this. And then you watch Top Gun today, and it was like they'll just hold on really long shots of like, cockpit shots of, Tom Cruise looking sweaty, but behind him, like, an airship carrier will just fall away in the background. And it's like, oh, this is so cool. This is just so much fun.
Tom,
to watch.
please let us cut down the 8-minute long scene of you being sweaty. No.
yeah.
I like what you're saying about Chris Evans being unshackled, because it reminds me of what happened to like all the Harry Potter cast when that all wrapped up, and they all just started doing a whole bunch of like different, like what's his name, Daniel Radcliffe was just suddenly in like a play or drama where he was like naked
yeah. And now he does like he does like really weird indie films. Like
I love it.
Weird Al Yankovic. Biopic, isn't he? Soon as Weird Al Yankovic. I just said it two different ways. I realized.
I can't spell, but there it is.
Yeah.
I saw this the other day. It's so bizarre.
Which that looks very funny. I want to go and see that.
But that's cool, right? It's like you do something for so long, and it's like now I can just do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
I have Marvel / Harry Potter money. So
yeah, but also he's clearly good enough to do it, right? You don't just. I feel like these are the things that are harder to do. To just be, Weird Al, for example.
Yeah.
Like surely that taxes you more than being a child playing a child. If you know what I mean.
Are you saying, Daniel Radcliffe, a sort of nerdy white kid, was really good at being a nerdy white kid in Harry Potter? Like that was fully in his wheelhouse. Yeah.
It's surprising to know one nerdy white kid is perfect for playing Weird Al.
yeah.
Sick. Alright, I'm gonna push us along. Sam, what have you been playing this week?
So I've gone back and played. I'm still carrying on with Rune Factory.
Okay.
And as an update to that, I've changed the way I've been playing it. Because I've found myself on some days with very little time.
Yeah.
I'm now actually only playing one in-game day every actual day.
Oh, you're Animal Crossing it.
And it's really fun.
Yeah.
Because now suddenly, instead of it being like, oh, I've done everything, let's go to bed, start the next day, do everything again, it's like, well, once I go to bed, quote unquote, and save, I'm going to turn the game off. So it does this weird psychological thing of, well, I want to go and do more stuff. Because I don't want to turn the game off. but I don't have enough time to do a whole new day and
Yeah.
do everything that I want
Gets
to
you
do in that
excited
day.
for next time though.
Yeah. I'm loving playing it. But the thing that I've been playing a lot of is because apparently it was on Humble Bundle, so our friend Stewie has picked it up.
Oh, cool.
But me and Lewis used to too play this game. Is Legion TD2. It is a PvEVP tower defense economy game.
Yeah, you used to play a lot of this.
Will might recognize it kind of because we used to play the StarCraft 2 custom game variant.
Yes, I remember this game. Yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to rack my brain to think of where I know that from.
Yeah. All I know
He's
is
right. It was a StarCraft 2 mod or custom mode.
I just know this isn't a new game for you because you've played a lot of this.
So me and Lewis put this game down for a while and came back and like there's been patches and new units released and stuff. So we came back and every strategy that we used to do, we're like, I don't know if this works anymore. So the simple premise is you start the game, you have X amount of money, you need to build units. It tells you how much like value you should have to defend against the wave. And basically it's managing having units to defend yourself and then buying workers, which then gets you a different currency, which allows you to send mercenaries at the enemy team.
Right.
And they'll do the same against you. So you're trying to hold your lane while also fuck up your opponent, and they're doing the same back.
Yeah, can you see your opponent's lane?
When the wave starts and it starts coming down and units are actually fighting, yes, you can't see them like when they're rearranging their troops and stuff.
Yeah.
That's like hidden fog of war. But the second the wave spawns, the fog of war is lifted. So you can be like, oh, okay, they built that unit this time. I didn't know they had that. And stuff like that. Says like, there's a competitive mode, which we don't play because this is a really fun game mode. But the issue is when you play competitively, the games end really quickly.
Yeah.
And there is a limit. You get to wave 21, and then it just sends that wave to you over and over again, but stronger.
Right, okay.
And it's just kind of, in my opinion, it's more fun to play through and build all these various units and have a strategy and kind of flesh that strategy out and see how it lasts against the big bad final wave.
Yeah.
And then you blow everything out and try and kill your opponent.
Yeah, I played a lot of this in StarCraft 2 back in the day.
StarCraft 2, and then also the original, the Warcraft 3 custom mod, which was Legion TD.
Oh yeah, everything in the StarCraft 2 custom arcade was just repurposed Warcraft 3 games.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
This is tower defense. The Blizzard one's coming out soon, right? The mobile version.
No.
That's the Clash of Clans.
That's like
completely
that's
different. Yeah.
This is like
Close enough, right?
no, not at all.
No.
It's completely different.
Oh, okay.
This is if say you're like well into a game, right? How easy is it to like hard pivot what you've currently got? Say like you go like, okay, like I know this is gonna fail. Everything I have is shit. Can you pivot to
yes.
Yeah.
So when you start, you get to build a variety of different builders.
Right.
And there's like you can be the mech guy that has all the mech units. But there's also just like a random and several different versions of randoms, which like some of them are really hard, some of them are a little bit easier but have less starting income.
Yeah.
But basically, as a base, everyone has a reroll, which you press, then it has your 6 units that you currently have, and then a random 4 units from the entire pool of all the units.
Oh, okay.
And then you get to go and pick 6 of those now 10, and those are now your 6 units.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But there's some other ones which are like, there's a random one which says you can pick any unit in the game and you are guaranteed to start with that fighter, and you have 2 rerolls, for example.
Yeah.
So that builder starts with a lot less income early, but has a lot more units that it can access to try and get a good early game strategy or a good late game build, depending on what you want to do. So
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of chopping and changing. It's not static at all.
Yeah.
You'll find your favorite units. Mine is the ball. It sits at the back, and when the wave starts, it charges forward and does more damage the further it's run.
That's pretty sick.
And I'm just there like, cool. Every other unit, well, not every other unit, but most units just stand in place and do the shooty shoots or tanks at the front. And this boar is like, I'm a fucking run down this field.
It's my only other question really is my enjoyment from like the StarCraft 2 version came from I had played so much StarCraft, right, that I knew like in-game counters and stuff because it kind of carried through. Is there any of that like in this? Can you point to like a thing in this and be like, that's a Hellion, that's a carrier, or is it all new units? You have to. So if I jumped into this, do I have to relearn whole new counters?
You would have to learn a triangle,
right?
So each unit has an attack type and a defense type. So if you knew Warcraft 3, which had piercing, normal, siege, then you know this because obviously it's modelled off the Warcraft 3 version. In this, you have magic damage, pure damage, which is just always 100%.
Yeah.
Like piercing, and then another type that I can't even think of, siege, like crushing, heavy, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then there's subsequently defense types. And then it's like arcane defense is really good against magic, but gets fucked up by everything else.
Yeah.
And like light armored is really good against heavy because it's supposed to be like you're dodging the attack kind of because you're nice and nimble, but it gets fucked up by piercing attacks.
Yeah.
So you just have to like learn the triangle, but it's very simple.
Yeah, I've watched Sam play some of this. You'd pick it up no problem, Josh. And you've played actual StarCraft. This is
yeah. Half the time as well, you can just completely ignore it and still be fine.
Yeah.
But when you do like build to your strengths, you get more out of it, and that more turns into more workers normally. You survive better with less.
I'll have to watch, like, if you're okay, I'll have to watch you play some of this someday, because it's not something that I would want to get into, but I'd like to watch, like, a round or something, a game.
The weird thing is obviously, because I say it was a Warcraft 3 custom mod, and then a StarCraft 2 custom mod, and now it's a standalone game on Steam that's 15 quid.
The people that make this, did they make the original mod? Or is it all new people?
They made the original Warcraft 3 mod, yeah.
Oh, good for them.
Wait, this game is 15 quid. I was expecting to be like a 6 quid game.
Oh.
Like Balloons.
This game is fairly polished as well with its like sound and assets and stuff. Like,
yeah, it's like calling it a StarCraft 2 custom game is like almost a disservice at this point because they've wholly picked up the ball and run with it sort of thing
and
at this point.
Even those mods back in the day, you would play them and be like, this is a fully fledged game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, they've taken the models. They haven't had to do that part, but they've still had to do the whole like lane AI and everything like that.
Yeah, Well, it's like Dota came out of that sort of thing.
Yeah,
the opportunities are there. Is there any StarCraft 2 custom game or Warcraft custom game that you would like to see as a standalone at this point? If you can remember that far back,
I can't remember that far back. No,
I think there probably is a version of the game I'm thinking of, but there was a game where one player would be the hunter and then 8 other players had to like find a gold mine because it was Warcraft 3, and then they had to like defend that area, and the attacker got money for attacking buildings.
Yeah, like sheep tag and stuff like that. Yeah.
I remember that very fondly, but I'm always worried, is that nostalgia or was that game actually fun?
It's a big pinch of nostalgia, I'm sure.
I have 250 hours on Legion TD2.
Nice.
And I would say I'm still pretty ass at this game.
Oh, yeah.
There's such a high skill ceiling.
Yeah.
But it's actually got a really low barrier to entry. Stewie's just picked it up and is having fun and being able to be like, oh, I'm going to do this. And there is a bad way to play, which is not managing your economy. But as long as you understand it's an economy game, you're going to have fun.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to work out what this screenshot reminded me of, but it kind of looks like RuneScape in like a weird, the
Like
modern day
new, like,
Yeah,
RuneScape.
new
the
modern
graphics is
RuneScape.
that era.
It looks like
yeah.
new modern RuneScape. Yeah.
You said you're
Yeah,
bad
it's
at this,
cool.
Sam, but weren't you like top 1% or something?
Okay,
at one
every
point?
game we play, it always says that I'm the top rank in the lobby, and it'll be like 2,700. But like,
Yeah, he's selling
Yeah,
himself
he's
short.
just
Sam
being
is like
modest,
a pro
yeah.
at this game. Yeah.
when you watch like streams and you see people doing the shit they do, I'm like, mate, I just build units and go burr.
Yeah, but that's the 0.1%. You can still be in the
Yeah.
1%.
I did break the top 1% at one point, actually, but yeah. Anyway,
Sick. Any final closing statement?
no. This game is great. It's just, I understand it's got a 15 quid tag on it.
Yeah.
I think that's more than fair, but understand that people are going to be like, maybe not.
Yeah, it's a tricky sell. It definitely is. Does it ever go on sale?
Probably. I mean,
Yeah.
again,
Yeah,
Stewie
it
got
does,
a
it does.
humble bundle.
Oh, yeah.
Stewie gets every humble bundle. So it was just in that. So, which
Cool.
means it's probably a lot cheaper than £15.
Cool stuff. Okay, we'll move on from that then. Steve, what you been doing?
Hello. Well, I've mostly been playing the MultiVersus, but I think we're going to talk about that later. So I did try a demo for a couple demos for games that didn't really pan out. Like they were a bit bad. One was
Yeah.
called Beasties, and that was terrible. And then there was another one called Beast Hour, which seems like it's a multiplayer game, but it seems like they only have like play tests up at certain times.
Yeah.
So I actually would like to talk about the Xenoblade series because I feel like people don't give that series enough credit for how good the games.
Yeah. Like.
Mostly two because number 3 is coming out next week.
Yeah.
So I was like, I would like to talk a little bit about it because it's a great series, and I feel like it's one of those series where people are like, it looks like a lot to get into, which it can be, but it's still like fantastic.
I have some stuff to say about number 2, so I'll let you go. But I can contribute to this.
I was going to say, Xenoblade so far, the Xenoblade Chronicles series has released 3 games. The first one has been re-released 3 times. I think the Switch is the best version.
Yeah, Switch is definitive version by far.
Yeah. And that's like solid. And then the thing about this series is that every single entry into it is standalone, so you can play them like Final Fantasy. You can play them without having played any of the previous ones, and they seem to be mixing up the mechanics each time. So like for Xenoblade Chronicles X, which came out on Wii U, the mechanic was it was kind of like an MMO-ish where you'd make your own character. There was no like standard main character.
Yeah.
And the gimmick is that you could become a giant mech in the game. So you would have like these ground fights, but then you could also just get in your giant mech and fight random stuff like bosses. And because it was sort of MMO-y like, you could even like team up for like big bosses and stuff. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the gimmick was that
combos,
your weapons,
wasn't it? Yeah.
It was combos, but also your weapons were characters as well. And there was like almost like a gacha system to get new weapons.
If anyone's seen JoJo, you can almost describe them as like stands, kind of.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a gacha system. It
Well,
was
it
a
was,
gacha
yeah.
system.
Yeah.
Not obviously with real money. With
It was,
in-game,
pure in-game stuff. There was no like
stuff.
paid.
There was no
Yeah.
I know that microtransactions and gacha go hand in hand, but
if a gacha system without using real life money sounds appealing to you, then seek help. No,
it was more to like, so like I think it was more to be like you would have a different experience if you played it again and again. Like, like you'd be like, oh, my character has like this and this, like this ice lady and this wind dude, and someone else would have like a fire dude and an earth like shaman or something. And the newest entry in the series seems to be that characters are like that's coming out soon. Seems to be that characters are paired and they can like fuse into like a mech. It seems like almost or something like that. But yeah, it's a really interesting series. People often I think lament the voices in it. But I would say like when you first hear them, you're like, oh, British. I think it's just because we're from England, so a British accent kind of sometimes sounds a bit cringe.
Yeah, I know what you're describing. Yeah,
at times, but it is actually like top quality voice acting if you get into it. Like sometimes in the battle, they'll repeat the lines a few too many times, so like you'll get like, I'm really feeling it, you know.
Yeah, I'm really feeling it. It's rhyme time.
But it's like the story is often top tier. The voice acting is great. The music is often great, except for X. And the combat is mostly, it's like it does auto attacks, and then and it's like very easy to get into, but like there is a mastery to it. Like it's auto attacks, but then you can get free abilities and like time them. Like you have to time them with your auto attacks.
Combos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like the positioning as well matters. So it's like it doesn't like vomit it all at you at once. Like it does like even like 30, 40, 50 hours into the game, they still like teach you new things. So it is like a slow burn. It's one of those games where it's like for me, even like with free, I'm like, I'm gonna buy it at launch. Not sure when I'm going to play it, but I know as soon as I do start playing it, I will get really into it.
Yeah, we're holding off because we still haven't finished 2.
Yeah, same.
Because we have... Which ones have you finished? If any?
None of this.
No. The
first... Who's the one I sunk the most time into, and I haven't finished that one yet?
The first one, I played a long time ago on the Wii, and never finished it. And then I think I played it on 3DS, and also never finished it. So when the remake came out on the Switch, I finally finished the first one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I had a great time with the first one. I haven't played X because that was only on the Wii U.
You can kind of skip X, not gonna lie.
Yeah. But Xenoblade Chronicles 2, I swear to God, I have started...
Fantastic game.
I've started this game like 3 different times. And
it's one of them ones.
Every time I get maybe like 6 to 8 hours in, and I'm just not having a lot of fun with number 2.
I absolutely adore it. The bit that gets me is when, because there's the gacha system in the game. There's a bit where you can like really start like getting gacha or whatever.
Yeah.
And like there's because like there was like DLC, not DLC, but like free downloadable content, which was like, oh, you get like a bunch of tickets and stuff. And I remember having like a bunch of like legendary tickets, and this has happened twice, I think. And it's like, oh, I'm missing like 7 to like 13 characters, and I'd be using those tickets, and it's meant to be like guaranteed drops, and it's not. And it wasn't giving me them, and I think there's like a system in place to like limit you getting like all the characters, or
probably
something,
to stop you cheating the whole game.
That really wound me up.
No, my thing with Xenoblade 2 was I got to a boss fight. The furthest I got in during one of my attempts was I got a good 20 hours in, I think. I got to a boss fight, and I couldn't do it, and I was like, right, I'm going to sit on it for a bit, and I came back, tried it again. Couldn't do it. I'm not sure if I was just doing something wrong or if my party was bad or something, but it got to a point where I couldn't do this fight, and something flicked in my brain, and I was just like, I don't care to push through. I'll try again another year. And I've never gotten as far as that bit there. And I leave it long enough that every time I come back, I kind of forget what's happened, so I try again, and I can't seem to do it. My biggest issue with number 2, is the performance on Switch, which I flog this dead horse a lot.
He's got to get in one every week, doesn't he?
It runs like shit during combat, which really winds me up.
I agree, yeah.
So the biggest issue with it is the frame rate drops, which I thought was quite annoying. But when I play on portable, it's like 720p or something on the Switch, the default resolution, and it drops resolution to try and keep frame rate, which it still kind of can't do when it gets heated. So you end up with like a 480p Vaseline, like 20 FPS mess during and that kind of wound me up, which is annoying because the story and everything is really, really good. But that really winds me up. If you could like grab a copy of this and then maybe like, I'm not sure if there's like Switch emulation, but like
I think there is by now.
Yeah, there's certain stuff.
I think I read there's like Breath of the Wild up and running on PC. I think I read that somewhere.
Yeah, because that annoyed me as well with Shin Megami Tensei 4, I finished that and was like, oh, okay, now I can finally look at YouTube videos to avoid spoilers. And people playing it on YouTube at like 4K 60 FPS whilst I'm playing a slideshow on Switch.
I'm hoping that like it's done by Monolith Soft, so I'm hoping that one day maybe they'll put it on Steam. Like if it was on Steam, it would be like A plus 10.
I feel like it's too tightly integrated with Nintendo, right?
Yeah, but like again, like Xenoblade, I'm not sure. Like they've all been on Nintendo, but it's like Bayonetta came to Steam, didn't it?
Or Bayonetta was on Steam before the buyout, I think, because there was a certain period where Nintendo suddenly. I don't think they bought Platinum Games, obviously, but they bought. Oh, what did they buy? But they started funding Bayo 3, I think, which is why they're all exclusive.
I'm just hoping that it will go
Sounds right.
one
I
day.
think,
It was something like people were like, "Oh, God's sake, why is Bayo 3 exclusive to Switch?" And then it's like, "Well, this game won't exist if Nintendo didn't help fund it."
because Nintendo paid for it.
Exactly,
yeah.
and that's why that happened. I'm on the wiki now for Xenoblade, see if I can find anything. You might be right, but I just feel like
I just hope.
Yeah.
Xenoblade. It's not like a Zelda or a Mario, so I'm like, it could stand a chance.
Xenoblade Chronicles was published by Nintendo, so again, they're paying for it. So probably not.
Hope maybe one day. Like, didn't Wonderful 101 come to Steam or something as well?
Don't think that did. You had.
Was that Switch?
What's the exploding knees game? Sliding across the floor. Vanquish. That came to Steam, but again, that's nothing to do with Nintendo or anything.
We're just... two for two on Vanquish references, though.
I'm going to bring it up every week. See if I can keep it going.
Give me Vanquish 2, you cowards.
But yeah, Xenoblade, I would say like it's great for exploration. The combat feels like, again, easy to get into, but there is like a mastery to it. It's just a fantastic series, and I feel like a lot of people, like don't want to take that initial plunge into it, but like I would say, go for it. Like if you're going to play 1, 2, I give my seal of approval. 3 probably is going to be great as well.
Yeah.
If you're looking for like a nice RPG to sink your teeth into, definitely recommend. Because again, like if you think of RPG, you're thinking like the Final Fantasies, the Dragon Quests, but not Chrono Trigger. Xenoblade Chronicles is just great. I know that I will like 3, so
I am going to put the big asterisk for anyone listening that sounds interested, is that they are anime as fuck.
They are anime, but they're not.
No, they are anime.
They are anime as fuck.
They're not as anime as like the Atelier Ryza games.
No.
It's like there's a little
they're
bit.
On the exact same level. No, I'm sorry.
I'm not saying that as a downside to them. I'm just saying. I played. I know they have like bong British voices and mate, I'm Shulk, blah blah. I play these in Japanese with subtitles.
Ah, you weeb. No, the English voices are so good.
The English voices are. I think they're awful. I think that I don't like them.
No, in Xenoblade 2, they've got Scottish accents and they're
never as good as Japanese VA.
Yeah.
You just massive weebs. Sorry.
That's fine. But look at this screenshot here. It's like, I don't imagine these people talking in like English and Scottish and that. It's like an anime. It's like that's how I enjoy anime.
It is.
Anyway, yeah. You do you, Steve.
Being called a weeb when I don't watch anime is like such a non-insult for me.
Well, it's not even an insult because like I'm a weeb as well. But I'm just saying like.
Weeb has lost all meaning now, anyway, so it's fine.
You can try the English voices once in a while. You don't have to immediately be like go into any game and be like Japanese voice.
Every game, Japanese VA. I'm sorry.
If it calls
an option, I do it.
The only like one I disagree with, because I think it has stellar voice acting in English, is Persona. I play all the Persona games in English because I think they're really good voice acting.
Fan.
Oh, because Sam plays those. Sam plays those in Japanese, but I play those in English.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else, Steve?
No, that's just it. Like I'm just like that. It's a series that I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, it's a full price game, and I'm not sure it looks complicated, but I like seal of approval. They are fantastic. There's a reason why people like these games, and that there's so much love and attention put into them.
After all this, if you want an entry point, Xenoblade Chronicles 1 on the Switch got a remake. 2 years ago, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
And in my opinion, is the best one out of all the ones that are currently out. Number 3 might be really good, but that's not out until Friday, I think. So
yeah, 29th.
Yeah, that's sick. I'm gonna transition from that then into my game for the week. I don't think any of you know what I'm going to talk about. You might have seen me playing it. I don't know.
MultiVersus?
No. I have played a shitload of MultiVersus.
Yeah.
I'll bring that up really quickly. So MultiVersus had its
open beta.
It's open beta as of
closed beta, but open.
Soft launch, I think, is the term, right?
So yeah, as of right now, as in when we're talking, it is still closed off, and you need a Twitch invite. As of when this podcast goes live, it should be in open beta. You should be able to just apply and get in.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's monetization and stuff in this, and they're rolling straight into a battle pass after the one that's currently running, I assume this game is just out now.
Yeah, this game is just out.
I put most of my thoughts and feelings in this into a podcast, maybe like 4 or 5 weeks ago. So I'm not going to go all in again. But this game is fucking awesome. I love this game. I'm playing a ton with Steve.
Yeah, it's so fun. And we're playing like characters that most people think are shit, and we are like decimating a lot of the matches.
Yeah, we're playing a lot 2v2. Monetization seems... it's bad, but also standard, I guess, for free-to-play games, if you imagine kind of what that looks like.
Is it bad, is it? Oh, right.
Well, it's not bad as in Diablo Immortal. It's you want more free stuff, but it's okay for like a free-to-play game.
If you've played Fortnite, if you've played Warzone, if you've played Apex, you know what the pricing looks like in this game.
Right, okay.
It's mostly cosmetics.
It's nothing gameplay related is locked behind a paywall.
Yeah.
Which is the best way to put it.
Well, but you have to grind for characters, right?
You can't just... Yeah, at the first it seemed really like a long grind, but I'm actually racking up gold quite quickly just playing a lot.
Okay, that's good.
There is a Founders Pack as well. Like, I bought the £30 Founders Pack because I was like, oh, you get a bunch of character tokens to like unlock the characters that you want and any future ones that you want.
Yeah, you can buy the basic Founders Pack is like 30 quid, I think, and you can buy that and treat this like a full release and just unlock every character that's out, plus
that's good.
4 more that are coming soon. So,
or like, say you like, I'm never gonna play like Harley Quinn, for example. You can just not have that and then have an extra character for later on.
Yeah, I find myself the rate that I'm getting gold. Just when I start getting bored of the characters that I have just enough money to buy a new one, which I think is quite good.
Yeah.
Loving this game. It's really fun. Looking forward to what they add more. As
I
said,
love it because
go for it.
I love it because that game did very well for me for Twitch viewership.
Yeah, you were streaming the launch.
I streamed the launch. Well, I was 20 minutes late even because I had to download it and I've got slow internet. And then I did a tweet and MultiVersus retweeted it, and then I got a bunch of viewers. Yeah,
like 280, I think you capped out at.
Yeah, and a bunch of new followers as well and stuff. And it was a bit nerve-wracking, but it was a very good stream. And so now I'm like, oh yeah, MultiVersus, I love them.
I remember watching that stream of yours and thinking, like, well, Steve is a fighting game streamer now.
Yeah,
go play to your audience.
Even when I streamed it and later on in the week, of course I didn't do as well.
Yeah,
but it still I still got like a bunch of new viewers, and so it seems like people are interested in this game for sure. Yeah,
like I said, this game so far has been a lot of fun. The fact that it's free and it will be out, I do encourage people to just check it out. It's just really fun. It's blown away all my expectations that I had for it. So. That was that one. The actual thing that I played most of was Broken Age.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Part 1 or Part 2?
I've finished all of it.
Okay.
So I played the whole thing. I actually played this a long time ago. I don't think I was at the original. I didn't back the original Kickstarter.
Yeah.
But I just played it a long, long time ago. Has anyone here played it or heard of it? What?
I
No,
have
I have
watched
no idea.
a playthrough of both parts.
So this game has kind of a controversial history behind it. Back in 2012, this game was kickstarted by Tim Schafer, who is the head of Double Fine, who make Psychonauts, Psychonauts 2. They make and his sort of in his past did a whole bunch of point and click games. So this game is a point and click game. And back in 2012, he was saying publishers basically had no interest in point and click games because why would they fund a game that no one's gonna buy? They thought. So they went to Kickstarter and they kickstarted this. They asked for $400,000 and ended up with 3.3 million. And I think, to my knowledge, it was the first massive Kickstarter that blew up for video games.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah,
blew up.
It was the one because none of them were expecting it, and it made a shitload of money. And because of that, the original scope of the game, which was this 6 to 8 month development, tiny point and click game for $400,000, turned into a massive project that took years and years and years, and it was split into two halves. The second half got delayed because they had to get more money, and blah, blah, blah. It had a very controversial development because a lot of people wanted this game out. For what they wanted, what they asked for. What they were advertising, and it turned into something else. I actually think the story behind this game is more interesting than the actual game itself.
Well,
I have heard that. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that.
When it came out, part 1 was fantastic. Like, I watched it. It was really interesting. It's a story about two characters. One's like in space, and
you can see them both here. So you have Shay on the right and Vela on the left. And the idea behind it is they have independent stories. It's a point and click game, so again, it's like puzzles, interact with the environment, talk to people, blah, blah, blah. They have separate stories, but at any point you can hop between the characters to carry on their story. So if you get bored or if you get stuck, you can hop to the other character. And the actual game itself, the story and the characters, is really good. It's a really good game.
Yeah, but it's part 1 fantastic. Part 2, they had too much money and didn't have enough plans to do with it.
No. So what I will say to sort of again tie this together is part of the Kickstarter was a documentary series. Because they wanted to keep development open, they said, okay, we're going to develop this game, no publisher, we're going to make it all in house with Kickstarter money, and because we have our own deadlines and everything, we're going to completely pull back the curtain and show you everything. And because of that you can watch all of this on YouTube. There's a documentary series called Double Fine Adventure. Let me find this very quickly.
Wait, was this done by themselves?
It was done by a different
it was a production company.
Production company called 2Player Productions. But they did it all in house. This documentary series is amazing. It's like 20 episodes long and goes through from start to finish when they launched the Kickstarter to finishing development of Act 2 and launching it. And it's just really good viewing. I actually
is it like warts and all?
It's everything, and it explains a lot of the problems they had and why they had to delay and this, that, and the other. Because what happened from a consumer point of view is people gave them the money, right? 3.3 million. It's like, 9 times what they asked for?
Yeah.
And even though it was 9 times what they asked for, they said, we're splitting the game in 2 halves because we can't afford to finish it.
Because 3.3 is also not a lot of money to build entire game off of, is it? Yeah.
But they kept adding features. I think that was the problem.
Well, that's and that's all. All that's all put in the documentary, and the documentary talks about how ultimately what they could have done is made 9 times the amount of money, right? But still just made a game worth what they planned for before. and made mad profit. But what they did instead was they rebudgeted and tried to make something a lot more elaborate. And it's almost like they went too far and made something suddenly that costs more than 3.3 million. But then if you're a consumer looking at it from, just as you purchase this thing, you look at it and you say, well, they got 8-9 times the amount that they asked for. Why have they run out of money? What's going on?
Yeah. This was definitely a game which I think turned people off of Kickstarter, which is a shame because Kickstarter can be good. But this was definitely one of the headliner games where it's like, oh yeah, if you give your money, you might not get what you want.
There's you can go back and there's a whole bunch of articles from 2015 saying broken age, broken promises, this, that, and the other. And it's really interesting in hindsight going back and looking at all this stuff, because as a finished product that you can play from start to finish, there is no Act 1 or Act 2 in this game. It's just one complete game. You can kind of see a point where you could see maybe it could stop. Yeah. But it doesn't come up and say Act 2 or anything. The game just carries on. But I think my recommendation, I'm going to say, is not to actually play Broken Age, but to actually watch this documentary series. Because Tim Schafer, all the point-and-click games like, Day of the Tentacle and Monkey Island and stuff, they're very witty games, right? They're very funny.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that comes across in this documentary as well. A lot of the staff and everything, they're just really funny and entertaining. Just game devs doing game dev stuff. Like you say, it's warts and all as well. So there's when Act 1 came out and everyone was going mad online, calling them all, stealing our money, blah, 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 blah. The documentary crew are there filming the staff, saying don't read YouTube comments, don't look at articles. Some bits are really sad, and there's layoffs and stuff during certain bits, and it's really is warts and all, but it's just a really interesting documentary about how games are made, literally from the start. Here's all the money. We have no idea what we're going to spend this money on. What do we make? And it shows all of it. So, yeah, that's my thing.
This is why, if you're going to do a Kickstarter game, stretch goals should be post-game DLC.
No, again, stretch goals. So stretch goals. It's nothing to do with the stretch goals. It is literally they got extra money, expanded the scope of the game to make something completely different than what they planned, and went too far.
Oh yeah, I guess, but still, that to me that would be stretch goals of we got money, so now we can fully voice it and we can get this in as well and this in. It was, do what you originally intended. Any extra money put as
Am I
After Effects?
Am I the one that's in the wrong? Where if I was going to Kickstarter a game, I would put stretch goals to be things I was probably already going to do anyway, then make it seem like a big thing, but being well, it was just going to be in there anyway. But now it looks like it's fancy because it's got stretch goals.
It's interesting because you are right, but it's also. This is a Kickstarter from 2012.
Yeah.
Where it's a lot of what is now normal for Kickstarting.
They're still figuring out.
They're still working out. And even when they do, they break it into Act 1 and Act 2. Early access now, in terms of right now, is everywhere. And it's not even, crazy to think of a game being early access and finishing later. But back then, in, 2013, 2014, it's what the fuck? What, split the game in two? Are you insane?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, now it'll be stretch goal. We're going to put an exit game button in the game. Ooh.
Well, I think the big things they added was, you say, voice acting. Length of the game was a lot longer. It's a full, from start to finish, it's a 10-hour experience.
Yeah. Again, it's an interesting watch. Again, unless it's on Game Pass. Or something,
it is. I played it on Game Pass.
Play it, but you can also just enjoy it by watching a playthrough of it on YouTube as well.
Also, it's interesting because I never intended to play Broken Age again. I started watching this because I watched it a long time ago, and I was like, I want to watch this again. I remember it being good, and there's certain bits in the documentary where it says, "Okay, we're going to start spoiling some parts of Broken Age now," and I was like, "Oh, I could just play it again," and I did. Yeah, great game. great video series. Should definitely check out the video series. It like explains a lot of video game dev stuff because it's not as easy as just code, push a button, here comes a video game. It's lots of people working very hard.
I understand. Just push the make it fun button.
Just push the fun button.
How is that so hard? Yeah.
We should like in one of the Discords like post like any good video game documentary series because there's a few of them out there. Like the Final Fantasy 14 one is fantastic.
Oh yeah, all the no clip stuff. If you want to pull the curtain back. Before I move on from this, the one last bit I want to bring up in this is there's a bit towards the end of the documentary where it shows them actively crunching to try and finish the game on time.
Oh,
and it is actually horrific. You see them getting like sadder and more tired with like every scene. I think one of them, the main gameplay engineer, this lady, she gets like seriously ill. She gets like pneumonia from like just
God.
It's
oh my god,
it's not great. And
it's like, why would you knew you had cameras on you, why would you work your
What, they don't have a
can't
choice.
avoid it.
I guess.
They all at that point it's like they don't have a choice. They're all in too deep, right? They love the project they're working on. And if they're going to finish it on time, because they only have a certain amount of money to last until a certain amount of time, it's like, oh shit, we have to get this finished. Yeah, that bit's a bit. That's a big. I think that bit and like a bit with layoffs. There's like people actively like crying on camera, and it's like, oh my fuck, god. Great series. But yeah, that's what I've been doing, and I guess that's what everyone's been playing this week.
Yeah.
I guess from here then we'll transition from the grueling game dev scene into a news story. The first one being
Oh no!
you got CD Projekt Red's stock is a quarter of what it was worth before Cyberpunk 2077 released.
Not surprising.
Speaking of like horrific crunch, because that's what these guys were doing for like.
Yeah.
What, like
Probably still are.
Probably still are, yeah.
They got absolutely decimated with Cyberpunk. I feel like too much like there are other games who like release shoddy other game studios who release shoddy games. I feel like because Cyberpunk got so much hype and people just like rammed into them.
Yeah.
So this is the one reason why, even though I didn't particularly like it, I rate Elden Ring as a fantastic game.
Yes.
Is because it survived the hype. And it's
Yeah.
very hard to understand how hard it is to do that.
Doesn't happen very often when something is hyped up that much.
Yeah, most of the time it's
Cyberpunk was that level.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk was going to be the second coming of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk, Elden Ring, No Man's Sky, like each of them have like different outcomes, I'm
trying to think what else has survived
Anthem?
that kind of hype.
Oh no, Anthem didn't.
What else has anything else like survived?
Sea of Thieves might have gained some popularity back, but I don't.
Not on launch. I mean on launch.
Not on launch.
That was never hyped though. Like, not really.
Stray.
That kind of came out of nowhere.
Stray wasn't hyped to the level of these games.
We're talking like Half-Life 3 levels of hype.
Breath of the Wild seemed to survive.
Breath of the Wild survived, I think.
Here's the thing. When I think of Cyberpunk and Elden Ring, I think of the level of hype is if I went to work and spoke to a mate at work and he knew about the games and and he just plays whatever the fancy new AAA game is or FIFA, you know what it is. If he knows about it and wants to play it, it's fucking hyped. you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd say like Animal Crossing, but that's more was like, I don't think it got pre-hype. I feel like it got big just because lockdown started and everyone's like, oh, I guess I could play it,
I legitimately thinking about it now, I think Elden Ring might be the only one.
Yeah.
At least in recent memory.
I think of fantastic games that landed well, like God of War, but I'm like, I don't think that game was actually that hyped up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel like Breath of the Wild was definitely hyped up before. People open world Zelda.
But it's like, it's another Zelda. Like, people are already...
Yeah,
they're going to be like, it's Zelda, it will be fine.
It's in that Zelda sphere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same way Animal Crossing was hyped up if you were in that sphere of Animal Crossing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Elden Ring was.
Yeah.
You'd walk around and my nan would be like, "You heard of that Elden Ring?"
Yeah.
What's the term where it's not? It's like breaking out of the niche. Where
It's like transcending.
we're all transcending the medium or something. Where it's like, yeah, we all obviously know about Elden Ring and stuff and are hyped for it. But it's like, if your mum says, "Are you playing that Elder Ring game?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Oh wow, this is a big deal."
The other big one that comes to mind for me about just transcending was Pokemon Go, where it was.
That's a good one.
It does get hyped though beforehand.
It was hyped, but
that's what I mean. Games that were hyped and stuck the landing.
Yeah, but Pokemon Go was the one where it's like, here's a cool Pokemon game you can walk around in real life and play, and then it was cool. Obviously, people knew about it, and then it was like, oh, my dad is playing it, and my sister is also playing it.
My dad still plays it.
Does that count if it was like it was after launch and it blew up? Like
I would argue that Elden Ring blew up after launch. Because it was.
I think Elden Ring blew up before launch.
Yeah, Elden Ring was like the one that at every gaming convention or announcement or
I guess
the chat was filled with Elden Ring. Are we going to find any
I would
Elden
put
Ring
Pokemon Go up there.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, the more it was.
That first trailer
was
for Pokemon Go was really, really good.
Well, for me, the floodgates of Elden Ring opened was exactly when review embargo happened, and every review was literally 100 out of 100 for like 200 reviews, and it was like, what is fucking happening?
To play,
I think it was that first gameplay preview they put out where it was like, oh wow, okay, they're really going hard on this open world aspect.
Those reviews could have been like 10 out of 100. People were still going to buy Elden Ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is, so to sort of spin this back around, I think from what I understand about CD Projekt's stock is, it's worth a quarter of what it was worth before, but I'm pretty sure it was horrifically overinflated. Just because of, just Witcher being... I just
looked. This is the lowest it's been since... August mid 2017.
Yeah.
So, I don't know I can't remember when Witcher came out, but it's climbed since then basically.
But I remember it's not in this story, but I remember there being articles and stuff about how before the stock was worth more than like Ubisoft and companies like that, massive companies with really long-lasting reliability.
Yeah.
Compared to CD Projekt, that fair enough to them, Witcher 3 was really good, but they haven't had nearly as many confident hits as these other big studios, but their stock was worth more. It was something like that, but either way, the stock has dropped off. I did think about, I'm not into stocks and stuff,
but it back.
Or again, if it was overinflated, then probably not. It's probably normalized.
Well, not to what I feel like there's been irreparable damage
reputation-wise. Yeah.
But if they release if the next Witcher game, which has been announced, Witcher 4 is like good, that can put it.
I mean, I'm not going to. This is all like funny money, but I think I would. I mean, I'd put money down. I'm not going to, but I would. But I'm not going to.
This is not financial advice.
Oh yeah, definitely don't come to me for stock advice. But
yeah, I mean, they have a new Witcher game that's been announced, but no information, and they have multiplayer for Cyberpunk and DLC.
And they just recently released a single player mode for Gwent, I believe, as well.
Oh yeah, it's like some roguelike version of Gwent or something.
Yeah. I don't think that's doing very well either, to be honest.
Well, no one played. Gwent didn't do well in the first place. It's like it was fun to play in Witcher, but the standalone game I don't think did that well.
I didn't even play it in Witcher. I have no clue how Gwent.
I loved it in the Witcher.
I played it because there was a quest to go around, and the first time you beat people, you got a card, and it was all right. But I didn't find myself playing it outside of I had a quest to play Gwent.
Yeah.
I loved it. I was playing Witcher to play Gwent basically.
Yeah, I've had a lot of
After a
people
certain point,
talk about that.
I would like rock into town and people would be like, "We're being terrorized by an ogre," and I'm like, "Shut, shut, shut. I've got to go to the tavern and beat your barkeeper at a children's card game."
Why are you not all over this new one then?
Because I don't know, because I was talking to this about Erin, talking about this to Erin, because she was the same. We both loved Gwent. We would talk about, oh, wouldn't it be fun to play Gwent like in real life? But then the real one came out, and I feel like they messed with the formula in some way. I couldn't tell you why, but it felt like without the framing device of traveling around the world,
I know what you mean. Yeah,
challenge weird barkeeps and like wizards and stuff at a card game. It lost something.
Here's Gwent. You can play it now on its own, and it's got cool stuff. And it's you made it too weird, man. You've made it. You've made it. You've gone corporate, man.
You sold out.
You sold out, man.
Also, I feel like when you put real money into it as well, it's like, it's rather than just being this like fun thing to do in a game, it's like, now you're tempted to spend real money on like the physical cards or the standalone online thing. And
I also think there are just better card games. Like,
True.
I think Gwent is great, but at the time I was deep into Hearthstone, and I've since played like Runeterra and a couple of others, and Gwent just didn't click with me like the others did. I know it's a great game, but it's
another time investment when there's not a lot of time going around.
It's one of those things I'd love to get to it one day, but I've just never gone around to it.
I've found that more these days that I don't think it's just because I'm an adult with a job, but there's certainly games demand so much more time than they used to for each individual thing to properly enjoy. It's like I was saying with MultiVersus, where I'm in that right now and I'm all over it, but I know that it's going to be battle passes forever and dailies and weeklies. And at some point, despite me really liking the game, I'm going to get annoyed with it, because that's what happens with me and these games.
I'm hoping that the ranked mode will be good for this game.
Yeah.
For MultiVersus.
Yeah, I don't want to spin it back into MultiVersus, but just the act of just or not every game, but a lot of games now are make sure you come back tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, and it's like,
to be fair though, they have to do that because like as much as it annoys people, and I get that, it actually retains most of the player base. You know what I mean?
I get it. I completely get it.
It's unfortunate.
You've only got so much time to spread around with these. It's like I say, I'm all over MultiVersus, but then I know there's a hunt battle pass coming out in like 3 days, and it's like, well, I cannot do both every day.
It's like I was saying, I'm only doing one in-game day in Rune Factory now, because I don't want to commit my entire day to Rune Factory, despite the fact that I love the game. I got shit to do.
Yeah.
You know?
There's too many games, too many battle passes. It's like
I have time.
It fucking sucks, right? Because it's like, if I was a kid, right now, there's so many games to play, and you don't even have to buy them. You just play whatever you want for free forever, and it's always getting updated with new stuff. So if you find a game that you like, you can just play that for as long as you want, and it keeps getting updated. Like, it blows my mind, because I used to play, when I was a kid, and I would play Lilac Wars or Star Fox, and I would play the same map over and over again. Or whatever, Mario, I was thinking about, because I played that.
Mario, there it is. Mario reference again.
Mario reference, yeah. Like, I would play Mario 64, like the same levels over and over again. And it just... Yeah.
I agree. Like, games as service has made me... Like, I don't play as many single-player games as I used to, because it's like, I always feel like, well, I'm wasting my time. I'm not grinding this battle pass that's limited time, or...
Oh, that's
the old FOMO.
Yeah.
I find that the sheer amount of stuff there is, and the time commitment it wants, that combined with the way content is these days, where it's like really quick stuff, bam, 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 get out, like TikTok, YouTube, whatever, I find that I bounce off stuff more than ever before.
Yeah, same.
Where it's like, I don't want to get too committed to this thing, because then I can't, when will I try that thing over there, and
Yeah.
So, and that's, again, it's is that always a bad thing? You know, maybe I shouldn't get into one game forever because then I would miss a bunch of other stuff. It's really tricky.
Yeah.
It's a good conversation though. I always like this kind of thing. I think it's things about battle passes and fear of missing out and stuff. It's good to talk about them so that you're always aware of what's happening.
Yeah.
Because ultimately these things are designed to keep you in a single ecosystem. And if you understand that, you can get away from it in regards to this is more in regards to things, you know, like Diablo Immortal and things like that, right? Where they're deliberately horrific for the average person that's not a oil tycoon.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a casual gamer that picks that up and gets really into it, you might end up dropping a shitload of money when you really maybe don't want to.
I think everyone needs to go through that proper battle pass burnout phase at least once. You know what I mean? Like, and then for you it was Valorant.
Valorant.
When we were all into Valorant, and then we were like, all right, well, you know, we're going to take a break for a bit, and you were like, nope, bought the battle pass, so I am going to play Valorant on my own for the next couple months daily to finish this battle pass and get my knife.
I've talked about it a few times on and off stream and bits like that, but to elaborate on it specifically, I made a spreadsheet to work out what I needed to do every day until the final to get the knife that I wanted. And I was a little bit behind. I'd missed I think it was like a 6 or 8 week long battle pass, and maybe I missed like a week or something. But I had to play, I think it was 3 to 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
For like 5 or 6 days a week to finish. And somehow I did it.
Yeah. It was me and my housemate at the time bought that first battle pass for Apex.
Yeah.
And we had like charts saved on our desktop that were like, okay, by the 25th you have to be this rank, then by the 28th you have to be this rank. And we were doing the same, where it's like, all right, you want to go out for a drink, and it's like, no, we've got to put the work in tonight to catch up because we skipped the weekend. So now we're like 10 ranks behind, and we've just got and it's like, oh god. And now I never play Apex anymore. And now that stuff is just going to waste.
And I never play Valorant. We played the other day, and I got the knife out, and I think my thought was just, oh wow, so much trauma attached to this knife. Like, get it out of my sight. I don't want to see it. It's crazy. And then because my one was all factoring in daily quests and stuff. It was like, you can't even skip a day and make up tomorrow. It's like you got to at least do the dailies.
Although I do feel like since then, battle passes people have seen that they've like dumbed them down a little bit.
They've calmed down a bit, yeah. I still just feel like, basically Fortnite invented, I don't know about invented, but Fortnite popularized them at least. And I feel like no one has done it as well as Fortnite since, Yeah.
I think Fortnite there are still certain battle passes that make mistakes, or at least design decisions that I feel like have been fixed a long time ago. Like I'm playing, I'm doing the MultiVersus one right now, which is actually quite a good one. I've almost finished it, and it's still got like ages left. But that one doesn't give you the currency back to buy the next one, which I think is a really good thing with battle passes.
That's a really,
I was talking to Laura about it earlier, where it's like, well, they give you the money back, but anyone that's playing that much anyway is probably buying other cosmetics and things in game anyway. So it's just, it keeps them in the loop forever. But certain ones don't do that, which is really confusing. I think that's a really good thing.
There was the Halo one, which never expires, but then was also awfully grindy and to compensate. So it's like, oh, nice, good move, guys. And then you play it and you're like, oh, never mind, you fucked it up.
A lot of them just feel like, again, going back to the Valorant one, I don't think they probably intended it to be that bad. They're just overtuned. And then by the time...
It does feel like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's like it's not like we're going to keep people playing 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. It's like, no, someone fucked up. And it's too much. But we're a week into the thing now. We can't change it too drastically because then it just fucks everything up. So we just have to roll with it and fix it with the next one. I bet if you go back and play Valorant now, it's It might not be great, but I bet it's not as bad as that first one.
Same, yeah. I'd say I've played a couple seasons later of Apex, and it's the same. It's like, I mean, it's not Apex isn't my thing anymore, but I've motored through a couple of battle passes on that just because it's much easier.
Yeah.
I think the thing for me, just to top off Valorant, was every time a set of skins would come out, like each skin was like 40 quid.
Yeah, that's...
Oh, Valorant's cosmetics are a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
They are off the chain. I don't know what is going on there. I don't know how Riot managed to posit themselves as like the Gucci of gun skins or something.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Oh,
It's cool. The effects are awesome, but fuck me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's them just basically their direct nearest comparison being Counter-Strike,
Yeah.
where the guns cost hundreds of pounds. Difference being is they cost hundreds of pounds in Counter-Strike because they're literally so rare to get. That's why they cost that much.
Yeah.
Because it's all loot boxes.
Sell them on.
And you can sell them on. Whereas Valorant is just, we made this assault rifle cost £100 because fuck you. We decided.
Yeah, and it's disheartening because League of Legends is so good with its skins. Like, it's like, oh, Twitch Prime, I get a free legendary skin every month. And they have like the loot boxes and stuff where you can get, like, you earn them for free in game, so you can just get random skins for free. Like, I feel like with Valorant, there's not even like a way to get a random skin, right? It's all just you have to buy them.
No, yeah, you only buy things.
You only buy things.
Yeah, which kind of sucks.
It sucks, but I understand why it is that way. I think that's way, because again, direct nearest comparison is Counter-Strike, and the average person will play Counter-Strike, go from that to Valorant, and a Glock costs roughly the same amount in both games.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
It sucks. 'Cause it's like, oh, I'd like to get some skins, but they're just so too expensive. It's like they're really going for like the whales. Like, and people call me a whale, but I'm like, I'm not that bad compared to like true whales, you know?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, it's like I don't think you're an actual whale. It's more like a meme. But yeah, the people that someone that buys £100 skin in Valorant is probably gonna buy another £100 skin in Valorant and more and more and more.
Yeah. It's as well, because I know Sam has this thing where he's like, as long as it doesn't affect gameplay, I couldn't care less. Like, charge £1 million or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm there to an extent, but then I see a gun cost 90 quid, and I'm like,
Valorant
I have to
is
say
on the
something
border
about
for me.
that.
Yeah. It's like, we've got a new Vandal skin. It's £60.
And I'm like, that's a whole game. Jesus Christ.
I don't think companies realize how cosmetics can make a game survive much longer. Like, if I can grind out something in a game like that makes me like shine like a little bit shinier than anyone else, I will play that game more. Like, I feel like people don't understand like how cosmetics, how important they are. And if you do like have them in the cash shop, sure, but if you have like them in the game as a way to earn them, people will grind them out because they want them just for the collection purposes.
I almost feel like
the
the other way. I almost feel the other way though, where it's not that they don't understand; it's that they have a whole team of people dedicated to extracting the most amount of money for the work per person.
They are going for those few whales where that's money, but if they want like gameplay wise, like player base numbers, having like any game
depends, man. Because
I guess but I just feel like
as someone at the top, all they care about is money, and then someone a little bit lower down the line, they care about longevity. Then the people at the bottom just want people to enjoy the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's different layers.
I will say, I want to throw out there that there's a big, not subset of people, but there's a big thing that goes around, which is cosmetics are fine as long as they don't affect gameplay, which is true. I agree with that. But I feel like the way these games are done now, that it doesn't affect direct gameplay, but it does actually affect your experience quite heavily if you're a free-to-play. Like, I'm playing, again, MultiVersus, newest free-to-play game that I can relate to. you fight in that game, you spend 3 minutes fighting, and then you go back to lobby, where you spend maybe like a minute and a bit, picking characters, going around menus and stuff. And you are constantly reminded of premium purchases here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
And if, a good quarter of your time spent playing the game is being hounded for microtransactions and battle passes, that is the gameplay experience.
Yeah.
Like, no doubt about it. If you...
True.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I hear that a lot of like, oh, as long as it doesn't affect gameplay. It's like, well, if you play Warzone and you die a lot and you're going back to the main menu every 2 minutes where you're hounded for battle passes and premium currency, that is part of the gameplay experience.
But not only that, but if you are constantly getting dunked on by people who have fancy skins, that is like pushing more advertising.
It is, yeah.
That you don't have stuff like that, yeah.
I will say though that like with the free battle pass and MultiVersus, like you do get like a ring out, you do get some decent stuff for free.
I don't think he was attacking MultiVersus there.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like with MultiVersus, there is good free stuff, and also I feel like for fighting games, it's not necessarily like some people don't care about that.
But you are aware that a free track in a battle pass exists to pull you back to the battle pass to show you it every time you unlock something for free to again entice you with the paid version.
True, but I agree for sure. I just feel like there are some that like the free tracks are total trash, but I feel like with MultiVersus you do get like some decent stuff for free.
It's such a tightrope. Because I understand that games have to make money, but it's also one of those things where I can chuck money at a game like MultiVersus, which I have. I've bought some stuff because I'm playing so much, and it's always a reminder that why don't you spend more? And it's like, well, I just spent money. Can you like back off for like 5 hours and let?
I've always said like I like supporting games that I like, but I also don't. If they're gonna put like, cosmetics and things I can buy, microtransactions up, I also can't support a game where I feel like I'm getting nickel and dimed at every turn.
Yeah. This will never ever happen, but I would love a system where in a free-to-play game, you chuck some money in, and then you can tell it like, okay, could you calm down for like 8 hours? I've given you some money, like just chill for a bit. You can come back a bit later when you feel like I'm getting too much gameplay for my money.
Again, you said like MultiVersus kind of shoves it in your face. I felt the opposite. Like Diablo Immortal was like egregious for like pop-ups.
That's in its own.
Even Bloons, like Bloons TD, like every time you log in, it's like pop-up. Hey, stuff. There's MultiVersus. I'm like, oh. Yeah, the skins are there, but that's just like as you're selecting your character,
you're getting paid by Warner Brothers here.
No, I'm just saying, like I feel like Josh said that MultiVersus was like egregious.
MultiVersus is not egregious. It's just another free-to-play game. It's like you said. It's like when you pick a character, whatever you pick, the premium character skin that you can buy is right next to the standard one that you pick. It is there. It is there. And I understand it has to be there because, again, it has to make money. But it is always just there in the corner. And if I buy a £20 Arya Stark skin or some shit, if I then go and play Garnet or another character, fucking Rick and Morty, whatever, there'll then be, for that character, the new reminder of like, oh, did you want to buy, look at this premium skin. It's like,
Honestly, I don't think most of the skins are that great. MultiVersus,
yeah, but it'll get there. It will get there eventually. Like,
did you see? I had this idea way back when we were playing League, but did you see? There was a while back. There was, I think it was rumors, or maybe there was a patent that got released or something that was Activision Blizzard. Had this idea of if you buy a cosmetic, they would like subtly lower your matchmaking rating.
Wow.
So that you would buy a cool skin, then you go on a big win streak, and then in your brain you would be like, I did really well there with that skin. I just go buy another one maybe or something.
I hate how clever that is.
Which is like, right? But I had that idea ages ago. We were playing League, and I remember buying a character and then winning a bunch and being like, Now, if I was Riot and I thought about, this guy's bought a character, maybe we'll just go easy on him for a bit so he feels good about buying that character.
It is literally like buying new clothes or getting a haircut, and then you feel like you're hot shit for a bit.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like that would have been studied. Like people would be looking out for that.
No, I get it. They're always doing everything they can. I have no doubt that that's probably still being used somewhere.
Yeah.
I think there was I think it was League, but I think I might have heard something similar for like Warzone or something at some point, maybe. Where again, it might have been the mobile version of Call of Duty did something similar, maybe.
That's like it would be a breeding ground for awful business practices. Yeah. If it was going to go anywhere first,
yeah. Well, MultiVersus is the first fighting game that has embraced the kind of like monetization that I'm surprised it hasn't done earlier. So it's like,
right?
Yeah, it's
What
like
the fuck?
I thought it was going to be that League of Legends fighter, but MultiVersus has beat it to the punch. It's like you can try every character in training mode, even if you don't own them, which is like
including the skins, which is really nice as well.
Yeah, which is like no brainer, right?
Yeah.
But you play any other fighting game, you cannot do that for some reason. So it's hard to learn matchups for characters because you don't own them. You can't try shit against them. But yeah, it's just all this monetization is like almost perfect for a fighting game.
It is bonkers to me that Street Fighter 6 is coming and it's still gonna be a box copy.
With a season
$60 season pass. Yeah. Ridiculous. What? Come on.
Yeah.
Put it out for free. Sell a bunch of cosmetics. People will eat it up.
They would make more money that way. I stand by that entirely.
I bet they would. Yeah.
Street Fighter won't do that. I think if the right game comes out, and then if there are some smaller fighting games that that are it's guilty is quite big still, but like some that like kind of like the B tier fighters, they go free to play and be like, okay, now there's some competition, and Street Fighter that's how Street Fighter would eventually go free to play. But until there's enough competition, they're still going to be paying, wanting that money.
Yeah, I think as you sort of say, you can't really compare MultiVersus to Street Fighter 6. They are fighting games, but they're two different beasts entirely. Yeah. I think if MultiVersus ends up really not taking off, but carrying on and doing really well and getting a massive roster, and then the next Smash Bros is a full-priced game. Obviously, it's Smash Bros. It will still sell shitload regardless, but I think you will get some people going like, well, MultiVersus over there is got a massive roster and is free.
Yeah.
Smash Bros. I wonder what they're going to do for the next Smash, because it's like Smash Ultimate has got like, I'm not sure, so many characters, like over 100, right? And it's like, are they going to launch with over 100 characters, or are they going to be like, oh look, it's this character's coming as DLC for and then it's because the big thing with Smash is the reveals, like who's coming, but like, can they release another game and then have DLC, for it on top of that?
But that's kind of the cool thing, is that Smash has had that almost exclusively for a really long time, and I kind of get that little bit of an itch with MultiVersus, where because Warner Brothers is so massive, I'm like, what weird shit could they actually add next?
Yeah, they own everything.
Like, could it be a Mortal Kombat character? Could it be Jotaro from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? It could be a shit.
Did you want to hop into
stuff.
the story of what character is coming?
Yeah, so unless the next Smash Bros has LeBron, I basically don't care. Which is on screen right now.
LeBron is coming with the launch on the 26th.
Yeah, and that's the open beta launch. So again, when this podcast goes live, depending on what time of day it goes live, the game, I mean, he should be out as well. Looking forward to playing him. He looks really cool. He throws his basketball around and does weird combos.
And they also announced for Season 1 that Rick and Morty are coming as two separate characters as well.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off.
Sam,
all I could think
up.
all I could think about for that LeBron James thing was like, that's a bit of a liability in it, because it's like, Bugs Bunny isn't going to go out and I don't know, kill a guy or something.
Oh
you know?
my god,
like,
yeah, right.
like Mario's not going to go out and rob a grocery store or
Funniest
something.
thing is,
It's
we're
like,
we're
we're
removing
what's the
LeBron from
countdown until
yeah.
LeBron gets either removed or renamed. You know?
well, the funny thing about it is like you would think, oh, it's LeBron, he's going to voice his own character. No, they've got someone else to voice him in the game.
He's either too expensive or he's just too busy.
Yeah,
Didn't everyone hate him in
Space Jam?
Space Jam 2. Yeah, I haven't seen it, so
I still haven't seen it.
I
yet.
haven't seen it. Yeah,
I hope he gets.
don't plan to.
I hope he gets a premium skin that just turns him into Michael Jordan instead.
Yeah,
from the original Space Jam.
I doubt they'll do that.
They absolutely won't, but I can dream.
It would be funny.
It would be good. Yeah, that was a really, really long discussion about monetization, but I really enjoyed that. So
CG Project Red, you guys.
yeah, I've actually removed that
I
tab
stock
from
now.
my thing because I thought we'd moved well on from the original news story. What else have we got? Let's go through a few different bits. You posted this on
this shit.
Yeah, you posted this on your Discord, Will. This is about Ubisoft cancelling 4 games,
Yeah,
including Splinter Cell VR and Ghost Recon Frontline.
it was. So the big headlines were they've been banging on about this Avatar game forever, and now it's been cancelled. But also we've talked for ages about how it's ridiculous that nobody's taken a big swing at a Tarkov game, or rather, I guess what we calling them, extraction shooter.
They're being called
now.
extraction shooters because everyone was
I don't know if I like it.
everyone was calling them looter shooters, but it's like that already exists.
That's the thing. That's Borderlands.
That's Destiny.
Yeah,
that's Borderlands.
Yeah. No, yeah.
So yeah, I think
Okay.
they're
I guess
shooters.
extraction shooter. I'll make my peace with it. And oh shit. And this looked like Ubisoft, because if anyone was going to do it, it was Ubisoft, right? Like they own Tom Clancy. It makes so much sense that they would make some kind of Tarkov-like game.
Yeah, I feel like ever since Ubisoft went into NFTs, they've just been floundering, and I'm just like, even I'm who was like, oh, I love Siege. I'm like, I could pass on Ubisoft. I could.
Yeah, it sounds like they're going all in on. They're doing its name right now is Assassin's Creed Infinity. Have you heard anything about this?
Yeah, this is the game of service that they're going to do all Assassin's Creeds on in future.
Yeah, so the next Assassin's Creed.
Fuck.
Yeah. Basically, yeah, what Steve said. So instead of doing a yearly Assassin's Creed, they're going to make like a platform or a base, and everything will come from there. And it's called Assassin's Creed Infinity. And it almost feels like they're going, cancel a bunch of this stuff. I feel like that's where these devs will end up going. I don't know that at all.
What's that hero shooter? Tom Clancy XD or something?
X-Defiant.
X-Defiant, that was it, yeah.
People were saying they thought that was one of these cancelled games, but apparently that's still getting closed betas.
It's like, maybe slip that one in there as a secret 5th cancel game. Yeah, I don't know. I know nothing about that game.
Whilst you're there, would you mind cancelling this instead? Or as well?
Yeah,
I'll go on
start that petition. # also cancel X-Defiant, yeah.
But yeah, so it says here, Ghost Recon Frontline was going to be a free-to-play battle royale game.
Yeah.
Which their other battle royales do so well. I'm surprised they cancelled it. Because
what's going on at Ubisoft? Are those guys okay? What's happening?
It's the higher ups. They all just want the money.
Weren't the higher ups a bunch of weird, like, harassers and stuff as well, doing weird stuff?
It's just not good right now.
It's all a bit going wrong at Ubisoft, because Ubisoft is enormous, right? They have so many different divisions, and thousands of employees, and
that is a Ubisoft game.
If there was one big company I could see dying alongside Blizzard, it's Ubisoft.
I guarantee you, at some point, don't know when, don't know how, but at some point, Ubisoft will get bought by one of these bigger companies, like a Microsoft or a Sony purchase or something.
Blizzard's going to be fine. Like they just teased Diablo 4 beta, so everyone's going to clean their pants.
No, I don't think you understand. Blizzard has already died.
Yeah, but they will get
It's
back.
not like it's going to die. It's like Blizzard has already been crushed.
How many duds are they going to put out before I'm not excited anymore? Yeah.
As soon as Diablo 4 comes back, it'll be out of the grave, and you'll be...
People will play it and be like, oh yeah, this is Diablo.
I said it before a few podcasts ago, but some of that slime from Immortal is going to creep into 4. I don't know how.
I'm hoping
I
not.
don't know what specifically, but something will slide in, and it'll be kind of like. Ugh.
We'll have to see. Yeah, I'm hoping for the best. Again, but I don't have my hopes high.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, people were saying that them cancelling all these games might be them trimming the fat to make themselves look a bit more appealing for a buyout potentially. You know, you get rid of all these random things that are costing money and say, look, here is what we are.
Wasn't someone going to buy it? Weren't they in talks for ages? Was it Vivendi were going to buy them or something?
I think Vivendi did, or they were going. I can't remember exactly.
Buying Ubisoft.
Yeah, see if you can have a look. But yeah.
Oh, they bought stakes in Ubisoft.
Oh, delicious.
They bought stakes for Ubisoft.
Yeah. One stake for 5,000 employees.
Yeah.
And it all goes to what's his face? Uvis. Well, I can't remember his name. The guy that talks like this.
The wrong? No.
You know the
one. Oh,
one.
Ubisoft fights off Vivendi takeover bid, but gets investment from Tencent instead.
Ah.
Cool.
So there you go.
They got that Chinese money.
Yeah. Well, who doesn't at this point?
Yeah. Okay, next story I'm going to skip over because we talked about it. This is the advanced edition for Into the Breach. Check it out.
Buy it. Great.
Next one, Connect Your Worlds. Discord
good.
voice chat comes to Xbox consoles for Xbox Insiders. I assume for Xbox Insiders means just temporarily, and at some point they will roll it out.
Yeah, there's a program you can sign up to. I did it ages ago. Yeah.
Cool stuff.
This is what should have happened with Sony, but Sony was like, we're having a Discord integration, and it turns out that it was just like, oh, you can set your status for Discord.
Yeah, when they said that, this is what I thought it was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's just basically on PlayStation, if you play something and you link your Discord will say that I'm playing Horizon, whatever the new one is called.
Yeah. But this is actually like voice calls and stuff, so...
Yeah, actual proper voice calls.
I'm not sure if it's like the full integration of like servers and stuff, but you can like hop in a Discord voice call at least.
I assume it will be. I mean, if it looks like they're going all in, right? It's like.
Yeah, but I haven't seen anything like servers, like seeing like people's typings and the GIFs and all that. Just it looks like at the moment it's just voice.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I imagine at the start it'll just be. As opposed to the whole social media presence that is Discord, essentially.
Yeah.
It'll just be comms. So you can... Because when you think about it now, Microsoft now have gone literally all in with the whole crossplay, PC and console at the same time. It's cool that now, along with that, if you are on console and you have a friend on PC, you can both play the same game on Game Pass and also talk to each other at the same time on Discord.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that.
Very clever.
Because I've played Hunt Showdown with a couple of people on console, and I don't mind doing it. The one thing that annoys me though is that I'm like, "Do you want to play on Discord?" And like, "No, we're going to use PlayStation Voice." So I've got to like unplug my headset out of my PC, plug it in. I don't have like the Discord crisp, and it's like, oh, it's not a good quality. I don't get to use like my nice Blue Yeti mic and. So, like, if I could do that on Sony, it would be like, A plus 10. But it's...
I don't know why they didn't on PlayStation, unless there's literally this was happening and this is some kind of exclusivity or something.
Maybe, yeah. Or maybe it's just Microsoft are better at integrating PC features into their console.
Or Microsoft have definitely chilled out over the years in regards to what feels like letting developers and companies sort of do their own thing and working with them, as opposed to like, we'll do everything in-house, we're going to control everything. It's like, no, you want a game on Xbox 360 on Game Pass, you can play it on Xbox One as well, and also Series X. You haven't got to buy it again. Why do you want to buy it again? That makes no sense. Just buy it once. Things like that. It's like, the whole hack around like, oh, you can get Game Pass every month for £1 if you cancel it. Like, they're not stupid. Like, they know how their own systems work.
They're just trying to make people like get like so attached to Game Pass. That when they do stop that, they're people like, oh well, I need Game Pass, so I'm going to pay the $7.99.
Yeah, and this is a really good place to bring up something that I was thinking about the other day, which is again, the whole Xbox thing, you could buy, I think it was like 36 months of Xbox Live Gold for a really small amount of money. Oh, and you can upgrade it all to Game Pass for like £1. And it was like, there were all these articles about it years ago when it first started, like, oh, check out this hack, and it's like they know what they're doing, right? It's not a hack.
Yeah,
they're just being really consumer friendly.
It's calculated, like we'll lose X money,
exactly.
But it's money we probably weren't going to have anyway,
exactly.
Sort of thing,
yeah.
You know?
And then my point to bring that up is the counterpoint to this is I went to play. I actually went to play Stray the other day, the new cat game, and if you have PlayStation Plus Extra, you can play it. Which is, if you remember, they now tier their service.
Oh yeah.
And I have the basic one. I bought a year's worth of it. And PlayStation Plus Extra is the middle tier. And to get that tier, I think I have something like 2/3 of a year left. I have to upgrade my entire year's worth to the extra tier for
including all the stuff you've paid for already.
I'm not sure if it's what I paid for already, but it's every single month remaining.
Right,
and it was going to cost me something like 22, 23 quid or something. And it's like, well, I don't mind paying for the upgrade for PlayStation Extra, but why can't I pay like 2 quid to do it for 1 month and play Stray?
Yeah.
So I just didn't do it. And it kind of annoyed me. And I was like, I'm going to talk about that on the podcast.
I'm going to use my platform and let PlayStation know how I feel.
It just really annoyed me because one of my first thoughts that went to is
funny. Go on.
I was just going to say one of my first thoughts that I went to these, with what's going on is I bet Xbox wouldn't do this. They'd let me do it for 1 month.
I know, that's what I was going to say. It feels like whenever I go to play or do something on like Gamepad or whatever. I'm always shocked where I'm like, oh wow, that just worked. Okay, cool. That's neat. But whenever I try and like boot up my PlayStation and do something on it, I'm like, oh right, I have to do this. I have to download this patch, and it's like, oh okay, my cloud save is gone, so I guess I'm starting this game again. Like, and it's funny how those companies have just like gone sort of different directions almost in this thing. It's
100%, 100%. It's still the thing where I know because there's the company's worth, like Microsoft compared to Sony, it's like astronomically different, right? It's like billions compared to trillions or whatever. But it's like, it still shocks me when I can play day one stuff on Microsoft's Game Pass. And it's like, okay, Halo wasn't great, whatever, but say like, Gears 5 or Forza Horizon 5 or something, it's like, you have Game Pass. Here it is. And then, Horizon 2 comes out and you go on the PSN store and it's like, standard editions, 70 quid. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money comparatively. Microsoft just let me play fucking Power Wash Simulator over here for a month's sub. Why can't you be cool?
It's nuts how many games you can just play. I feel like I just don't. We've joked about it before, but I just don't pay for games anymore. Basically, I just if I go on a store and it's like 20 quid, I'll just play something else.
Well, I'll
be back. But
even like Marauders, which is right now out in like alpha or beta, like for 5 days.
Yeah,
a bunch of us were going to get it, but then we heard, there's potential it's going to be on Game Pass.
Well, it's going to be on Game Pass. It is going to be on Game Pass.
So we were like, it's like, we can skip this 5-day beta and just wait, Yeah.
Do you want to pay 30 quid now, whatever? I think it costs around 30 quid.
30, 20, something like that.
Yeah, 20 to 30 quid to play the beta now on Steam, or just wait for the Game Pass version. It's like, wait, because realistically, I'm not going to play this game for longer than a week or two anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So.
And it's like Tarkov. It's like I don't want to jump into that game because it's like I don't want to pay that big amount of money for a game that I might not like. Whereas if it's on Game Pass, I'll just press the download button and try it for free. For free-ish.
Tarkov, despite me not really getting massively into, I don't mind the fact that I paid for it because it was the first type of that game that I actually played. So despite maybe not enjoying it, it was it's like a unique experience.
I also feel like there's a point down the line where I will enjoy that game. It's just not right now. So
yeah.
I have it. It's there. I'm just like, every now and then I dip my toe and be like, oh no, still too cold, not for me.
Maybe next wipe.
But yeah. Bit more warm water and I'll be back.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole stray thing annoyed me because, like you say, like the £20 to £30 spot is weird now because a lot of those games that fit that pricing are given away. Via.
I pay like
After
£2 for
watching-
indie games. Oh, go on, Sam.
After watching Welchie play Stray, you could buy that game on Steam.
Yeah.
Play it, finish it, refund it. You got more than enough time.
No way, really?
Really?
I didn't know
heard
that.
it was like 8-9 hours or something.
That's for people that are probably petting the cat for 6 of those hours. Because
Oh yeah, I bet Welchie
If you
turbo
just-
gamed it, didn't he?
What? I mean, I think he had 4 hours played, and he even turned around and said, like, he just had it running in the background while he had to do stuff. So, like, an hour of that wasn't even gameplay.
Oh right.
I didn't know that. I'm gonna.
It is
yeah,
not a long game.
that'll be a good because I'm gonna play it at some point. So that'll be a good talking point. Because I've heard so much good press and praise and so much good stuff, and at no point have I heard anyone say anything like that. Not saying he's a liar. I just have not heard that.
No,
at
I mean,
all.
I watched him play it.
I feel like Stray. I don't want to knock Stray because I've not played it, but everything I've seen all the hype has been gifs of like, look, he pushed a cup off the table. He is a cat.
The cat
meowed.
yeah.
Oh
And
my
as a
god!
person, I'm not a huge cat lover, so I wonder if like I would just get nothing out of this game at all.
It might be because my primary news source these days is Reddit, which just go ape shit for cats and dogs, and
Yeah.
that it might be like the wrong
I mean,
place.
rightly so, but yeah.
Yeah. But if you go anywhere else, they're just ripping it to shreds about how short it is, maybe. I don't know. Okay, we'll move on from that. We've then got Platinum claims it will change significantly as it hires former Nintendo executive.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Normally they say the opposite.
Yeah, normally. I think the idea of changing significantly maybe because based on their latest releases. I still think about Babylon's Fall a lot. That sounds really weird, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you might be one of the few, to be honest.
I imagine that must have cost them a shitload of money. Just a flop of that. Yeah, it did look expensive. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about this. I think it's a bit odd because their next games have the potential to be really good and popular, like Bayo 3, and there was another one.
Bayo 3 is already showing the Nintendo effect because she's getting more clothes as an option.
Oh, that's true. That's true. No one's going to turn that feature
big
on.
changes, yeah.
There was another game they were doing. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like kaiju stuff, like Godzilla and stuff, big fighting.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know if you've got anything to say about this, any of you lot, but
No,
that was
not
just
really.
one of the stories. You then had the last two are Stevens, so he's going to do the talking on these ones.
Oh, God.
So
Okay,
I've not even read these. So
Okay, the first one is there's been a lot of talk about loot boxes across Europe at the moment. Like I think Spain was the recent one that was talking about maybe like
yes,
keeping
yeah,
up,
I took me a second, but I remember, yeah, they were talking about how they were going to change a bunch of regulations.
And the Netherlands and Belgium have also said that, they flat out say like no loot boxes in video games. But the UK have looked into it and have said loot boxes are fine, they can stay because apparently EA said, oh, it's just like having a Kinder Surprise,
Yeah, it's disappointing. I'm not gonna personally. I'm not gonna linger on this too much because I'm gonna get really political otherwise, and I don't want to do that on the podcast.
Apparently, they have said that they do want to make sure that it's either adults buying the loot boxes or you have a parent's or guardian's permission. So they are maybe going to look into like age restricting stuff.
It's all hand waving.
They like loot boxes are fine, but it doesn't really surprise me because there's like a big gambling culture in the UK. Like the bookies, are everywhere. Like horse racing is a staple.
I know that a lot of betting shops and stuff in England are deliberately placed in poorer areas of the country to deliberately pry on people that are prone to
So
gambling and bits like that.
Yeah, it's not surprising that like, oh well, we can get these, loot boxes in, get them gambling early,
Yeah, like I said, I'm unsurprised considering the way our government is. I don't want to get into it, but yeah, it's disappointing, especially considering coming off the back of what you were saying about Spain and stuff. Actually looking at taking steps, and then our government being like, yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Well, maybe we'll do some stuff. Maybe. Who knows? Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that one then, I guess. One more.
Yeah.
What have you got?
This was more just because it's kind of ironic. There's an art installation company called Meta who are suing Meta Facebook for the name Meta.
This is too meta.
Yeah, that was mostly just like the headline, but apparently because they've been in talks for 8 months or so trying to like work out something, but because Meta Facebook has had such bad publicity, it is affecting Meta the art installation.
Hashtag the real Meta for the art installation.
So they are suing them for the name. Well, for damages. Maybe you might see Meta Facebook change their name out after this. We don't know.
Absolutely not.
Probably just buy the name at that point.
Probably. Yeah.
I don't think they'll even do that. I think they'll just completely ignore it and just completely stomp it out. Facebook has enough money to chuck expensive lawyers at cases like these and drag it out for so long that the art installation probably cannot even afford to carry on legal proceedings.
I hate that law is so tied to money. I'm like, why can't it be just wrong and right?
Yeah, because by all means, it should be, fair is fair. If they were first, then they should be.
Yeah, I mean, they called dibs.
They literally called dibs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it sucks. But I guess that's just how these things are, aren't they? And unless you've got anything else to add to that, that's the last news story of the week.
Yeah, and there's only 2 small releases, which are both on the 29th. Well, not small releases, but we've got Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Oh, yeah.
And Digimon Survive.
Is that a mobile game?
Digimon Survive is coming out on, I think, all consoles and Steam. It is basically, it's a Digimon story. It's meant to be like a detective novel kind of story, but also with like Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, Fire Emblem sort of like gameplay as well.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about it.
I don't think it's on Steam.
No, I tried looking for it on Steam. No. It says PC.
It is on Steam. It is on Steam. You can pre-order it right now.
I couldn't find a page for it on Steam.
It was on Steam.
It's okay, so I'm on the official website for Digimon Survive. There's a button that says PC, and I can click it. And it takes me down to select your platform, at which point PC has vanished.
Maybe
that's pretty funny.
Maybe that's a bit wrong with PC. It was on Steam for a bit. You could pre-order it on Steam.
I completely. It says at the top. It says PC, and then when you go to buy it, there is no PC platform.
Maybe they got maybe it's getting an Epic exclusive deal, or maybe Stadia.
But it would be here. There'd be a big button that said.
I don't know.
This game's out in 5 days. 3 days if you're.
I was going to play it on PC.
Tuesday.
I was going to buy it. I was literally going to buy it for pre-order bonuses like today.
Everyone listen as Steve crash and burns and cries live on the podcast.
Because Digimon games generally if you like Digimon games are generally a good time.
You know, they're a good play. They're good.
So I was like, really.
I'm sorry, Steve. Really I'm sorry to break it to you this way, but you can't play.
No. Even on like
Digimon Survive is gone, Steve.
Yeah.
Even on like CD keys and other stuff, it's all saying like we're selling Steam keys, so it must have.
Oh yeah, well, okay, so it's not on Steam, but they'll definitely give you your key then on launch day. You should buy it from the grey market.
No, I would not. I would buy it on Steam, not the grey market.
Go to Kingwin.
Some guy will give you a key. It might not be Digimon Survive, but
okay. That is shocking. Now I'm like, what's going to happen with this game?
Unfortunately, Steve did not Digimon Survive the podcast this week. Thank you for listening, everybody. We've made it to the end, so I'm going to wrap this up.
Fuck it out.
Good job, everybody. We've done another podcast for the week. let's all sign off. Thank you for listening. As always, my name is Josh, but I go by BottlerWorks on everything, mainly on Twitter and Twitch and YouTube. We've also got Olive Meister here. He's going to sell himself.
Hello. Oh, what were you going to say?
You're going to sell yourself.
Hello, I'm Olive Meister. You can find me at Olive Meister on most things.
And Steve.
Are you not going to sell me?
No, I'm not going to sell you. I ain't getting anywhere near you.
Oh. Hi, I'm Quikwix. That's it. You find me on all the platforms.
I love you, Steve.
Ah.
Just going to let that sit. And
Okay.
Sam.
Hello, I'm Sam.
Can't find him anywhere. Don't even try. Literally invisible.
International man of mystery.
International man of mystery.
I keep thinking I should tweet out tweets, and then I'm like, but they'll find me.
If you tweet out a tweet, it'll get at least 3 retweets.
I have seen some AI generated like tweet generators, so just do one of those every day.
No, I was gonna tweet out about a certain someone used half of an ice pack and half to another ice pack or something or other.
No, we're going now. You have to follow us all on Twitter to find out what's going on. Bye.
Bye.
Look, there's nothing wrong with me using half an ice pack.